Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, it's okay now. Please go ahead.
So, I need my slide. How can I put in my slide? Okay. Can you see my slide? Can you see my slide?
Yes. Please, can you go to the full screen, please?
Full screen. Can you see slide?
No, you can see half of your slide. Yeah. It's okay now. Now you can go to the slideshow. Yes. And you can go back. Go to the slideshow.
Is my PowerPoint slide? No?
No, we can't see your slide. Please share your slide.
Can you see slide?
We cannot see your slide. If you like, you can start your now without showing the slides.
Okay. So, thank you very much for introduction, and I appreciate the organizing members for giving me a chance to present COVID-19 response in Korea. And I will discuss about the current status of COVID-19 in Korea and strategy of Korean government and variants and vaccination status and future international collaboration suggested by Korean government. From the dashboard of Johns Hopkins on July 2020, the total number of confirmed cases in the world was around 12 million, and total number of deaths was 551,000. And at the time, the graph shows that increased number of confirmed cases were rapid. At the time, the incidence of COVID-19 in the world was around 0.15%, and mortality was 4.55%. Now, in the May of 2021, the total number of confirmed cases in the world is 162 million, and total number of deaths is 3.3 million. Now, the incidence of the world become 2% and mortality is 2%. Compared to the last year, the confirmed incidence is increased 8 times and mortality is decreased from 4.5 to 2%. In Korea, in the last year, the total in the July of last year, the total incidence on July was 13,000, and the number of deaths was 287. Now, in May of 2021, the total number of confirmed cases is 130 and 131,000, and the number of total deaths is 900. Therefore, now the incidence rate is 0.25%, and mortality rate is 1.44%. During this period, Korea experienced 3 outbreaks, and recently the count of new confirmed cases remained steady state, ranging from the 400 to 700 new cases per day. Unlike instance of the confirmed cases, the number of dead people is relatively well controlled. Recently, less than 20 cases of COVID-19 related deaths are reported. So the detailed graph from the Korean government shows that 3 outbreaks, and this graph also shows the number of tested cases, indicating that recently more than 30,000 to 70,000 of tests are performed. Following the initial COVID-19 outbreak on January 20, Korea experienced 3 COVID-19 outbreaks, and Korea flattened the curve of newly confirmed cases from the 2 previous COVID-19 outbreaks. However, the curve of new confirmed cases after third wave remained steady status. So when we can summarize, compare the instance of mortality and the death rate instance and mortality of the COVID-19 between the world and Korea, the total instance and mortality rate from COVID-19 in Korea is below the world average. Next, I will introduce the strategy of COVID-19 control of Korea. The strategy of KCDC is test, trace, and treat. In the time of initial COVID-19 outbreak, the number of national laboratory centers of COVID-19 was 19 centers, and the capacity was 2,000 tests per day. And now, the number of laboratory centers is increased as 193, and the capacity is increased as 500,000 tests per day. And also, KCDC prepared tracing by providing stepwise approach method and adaptive digital technology. The epidemic investigation is based on the information and communication technology by using credit card record, CCTV, and GPS data of cellular phone. And the KCDC identified persons who need self-quarantine and perform 14-day self-quarantine, and finally confirmed the patients with COVID-19 infection. The confirmed patients are divided by 4 groups according to the severity of clinical manifestation. The patients with critical and severe groups are treated in the designated hospital, and patients with mild symptoms are managed by self-quarantine or residential treatment center. Next, I will introduce the variant and vaccination status of Korea. A patient infected with COVID-19 variants are widely reported in the world, and it is also reported in Korea. Until May 5, the total number of patients with COVID-19 variants were 632, and most of them are UK type, and South African type, and Brazilian type is also reported, and India type was reported on the May 18. And the status of vaccination is very increased. The total number of vaccinated persons in the world is 1,457 million, and the number is vaccination in Korea.
This meeting is being recorded.
The number of fully vaccinated persons is 267,000, indicating that 0.5% of total Korean population. Therefore, at present, the status of vaccination in Korea is very low. Now, KCDC has detailed plan to speed up the vaccination. And the strategy is that starting the vaccination from the elderly peoples and extended to the young peoples. KCDC also has some adverse, reported some adverse events, but the incidence is very low, similar to the other countries. And now the incidence is steady state, but mortality is well controlled in Korea. So KCDC suggests that the recently decreased mortality rate from COVID-19 in Korea might result from the first, improved medical treatment of COVID-19, and second, the vaccination effect for the elderly people. KCDC decide the extent of self-quarantine for the fully vaccinated persons and also prepare several incentives in order to speed up the vaccination. But when you compare the incidence, mortality, and vaccination between the world and Korea, everything is low. We are lower than world average. The incidence is lower than world average in Korea. Mortality is lower than world average, and also vaccinated people is lower than world average. The vaccinated people in the world is around 18.7%, and in Korea is only 6.7%. Therefore, in May of 2021, the status of COVID vaccination in Korea is below the world average. And finally, I will introduce the suggested international collaboration of KCDC. The KCDC suggests, first, exchange information on potential threats of new public health emergency. The second, implement a joint action plan on areas of laboratory strengthening. And third, a joint research on areas of high-risk question and new emerging disease. Thank you very much. And I don't know why my slides are not uploaded in this area. And anyway, thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.